Did you know that Erie was an important stop for history's most iconic rock bands? Let's take a look tonight on Project Algerine.
If you were wondering where my family is from, they're from Erie. And if you were wondering what our slogan is, we love Erie. And if you were wondering where our fair city is, it's by the lake. And if you were wondering what our famous catchphrase is, we love Erie.
I want you to just close your eyes for a second and try to imagine the sheer, absolute sensory overload of the 1970s and 80s rock scene. Seriously, imagine the smell of ozone, stale beer, and dry ice hanging in the air. Imagine the earth-shattering, thunderous boom of amplifiers being pushed completely to their limits, vibrating right up through the soles of your shoes. Well, today we're going to explore a legendary venue that captured that raw, high-octane atmosphere perfectly. Welcome to the Erie County Fieldhouse, a literal rock and roll time capsule.
To really wrap your head around the magic of this place, we kind of have to look at the crazy contrast. Picture the 1980s, a thunderous roar of thousands of sweat-soaked rock fans, fists in the air, screaming for heavy metal gods, right? Now, fast forward to today. If you drive past the old Erie County Fieldhouse site now, you are definitely not going to hear any blistering guitar solos. Nope. You're going to find a quiet operations plant and warehouse space for the Menasha Box Corporation, along with some maintenance storage for Mercyhurst College. It is such a violently mundane reality compared to the pyrotechnic glory days that happened on that exact same patch of earth.
But the really crucial thing to understand here is the scale of this place. 5,250. That was the maximum capacity of this totally unassuming multi-purpose arena in Erie, Pennsylvania. It only had 3,750 permanent seats, but let me tell you, when the massive rock tours rolled into town, they packed that floor tight. We're talking just over 5,000 fans crammed into a pretty confined space, which created this incredibly intense, deafening, and uniquely intimate atmosphere. Every single person in that building would have felt the energy of the performers right in their chest. And it wasn't just locals who thought this place was wild. Get this, the prestigious German magazine Der Spiegel actually called it the most bizarre and entertaining rock theater in the world. They were talking about the total music theater that defined the mid-1970s, specifically Alice Cooper, actually. You see, the Fieldhouse wasn't just a place to stand and hear music. It was a theater of the macabre, the bizarre, and the spectacular. The rock shows of this era were massive, theatrical productions designed to shock and awe, and little old Erie, Pennsylvania was right on the map. I mean, just marvel at this massive roster of classic rock titans for a second. You had Kiss in January of '76. You had Aerosmith, Rush, Van Halen, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Cheap Trick, Judas Priest. The sheer volume of talent that rolled through Erie is staggering. And honestly, that's just the hard rock. They also hosted Blue Oyster Cult, Foghat, Santana, and, surprisingly, even pop acts like the Carpenters and Barry Manilow. But let's be real, it was that heavy, sweat-drenched rock and roll that truly defined the Fieldhouse's legacy. You see, these weren't just random one-off shows. These were thunderous milestones on the Rust Belt Rock and Roll Highway. In March 1975, Alice Cooper brings his Nightmare to town. Skip ahead to June 1979, and AC/DC is tearing the roof off the place. October 1980 brings Black Sabbath. And by May 1981, you get this monstrous double bill of Ozzy Osbourne and Motorhead. The touring schedules back then were absolutely relentless, and the Fieldhouse was just a mandatory stop. Take March 29, 1975, for example. Alice Cooper was touring his Welcome to My Nightmare album, and he brought a stage production that cost over $250,000. Just think about the sheer absurdity of that budget in 1975. The stage was more than 30 meters wide. So this wasn't just a band standing up there playing songs, this was a full-on Broadway-level production of Dadaist rock, completely transforming the modest Fieldhouse stage into this immersive world of surreal nightmares. Just picture being a fan in the crowd that night. Alice's crew hauled in a 10-foot tall Cyclops with a detachable horned head and a glowing illuminated eye. Seriously, they had 6-foot tall Black Widow spider dancers weaving their way across a giant 12 by 20-foot aluminum suspended web. Ghostly skeleton dancers roaming the stage. It was visceral, it was macabre, and it was completely unhinged theatrical insanity that just left the audience spellbound.
Now let's fast forward a bit to October 19, 1980. Black Sabbath arrives for their iconic Heaven and Hell tour, and they bring the British rock band Magnum with them. I want you to just imagine the deafening wall-to-wall amplification of Sabbath playing at their absolute heaviest, echoing off the walls of a 5,000-seat arena. The concert pacing in this era was just frantic, and the Fieldhouse essentially became a pressure cooker of heavy metal energy.
But if we're talking about raw, unstoppable momentum, look no further than May 12, 1981, a double bill of Ozzy Osbourne and Motorhead. Just think about the sheer volume, the speed, and the aggressive power of those two acts sharing the exact same stage on the exact same night. It perfectly represents the absolute peak of early 80s heavy metal, all converging right there on the Fieldhouse floor.
Of course, nothing lasts forever, right? And the decline of this era was actually remarkably sharp. In 1974, the venue was booming with 18 major concerts. In 1976, another super strong year with 14. But the numbers tell a pretty crazy story as we hit the 80s. By 1983, the Fieldhouse hosted only a single concert, Judas Priest, in January of that year. The golden era was suddenly crashing to a halt. First off, we can't forget that the Fieldhouse was actually an ice rink and home to the Erie Blades hockey franchise. And they have this kind of hilarious claim to fame. In 1980, the local boys played an exhibition game against the Russian Olympic team right there at the Fieldhouse. Spoiler alert, the local boys got absolutely crushed. Final score, Russia 9, Erie Blades 0. Ouch. And the lineup of non-music events was honestly bizarre. This was the venue where mid-70s studio wrestling was taped. It hosted a televised lightweight title fight between Lou Bizarro and the legendary boxer Roberto Duran. They flooded the whole place for boat shows. They brought in the world-famous Lipizzaner stallions, circuses, and the Ice Capades. I mean, thinking about the pristine Lipizzaner stallions performing in the exact same room where Ozzy Osbourne just screamed his lungs out, it truly demonstrates the chaotic, hard-working, multi-purpose nature of this facility. It really was the heart of Erie's entertainment.
Because by 1983, the music officially stopped. The facility was permanently replaced by the new Louis J. Tullio Arena in town. The building closed its doors to the public, and that hallowed ground, where Alice Cooper's giant Cyclops roamed and Ozzy Osbourne completely melted faces, was repurposed. It became an operations plant, a warehouse for cardboard boxes, and a maintenance depot. The time capsule was sealed for good.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If those cardboard warehouse walls standing quietly in Erie today could talk, what would they scream? So, next time you drive past an unassuming industrial building, remember the Erie County Fieldhouse. And remember that sometimes the quietest places hide the loudest, craziest histories.